Okay, hello Zeroses. So I'm gonna be watching or reacting to the Roses MV. So I think this is the last MV for this, or the last like MV for this album, the special album that's supposed to come out. I know I already did Running to the Future, and I was saying like, oh, there's supposed to be like that was just a pre-release. There's supposed to be another song that I think, unless there's another one that they end up promoting, or I don't even know if they are. I'm assuming they're gonna be doing promotions because we did get like a whole uh they get like a whole like schedule, like teaser and all that stuff of when things were supposed to drop. But anyways, I already know I'm gonna probably cry because I did cry in the last one, and me, like, especially when it comes to like these temporary groups, because I am a big stan of a couple of them at the moment. So uh, and I have been a stan for a couple like in the past as well. So yeah, but we're just gonna go ahead and just watch and like enjoy it and see like how this ends up, like, because obviously like roses makes me think of like it being about zeroses, so maybe that's why it's like another kind of thank you kind of song dedication, kind of like how Running to the Future was a little bit like that too. But we're just gonna go ahead and watch, y'all. Look, there's like stars in the sky. Okay, a little bit animated again. Hey. Okay, like counting sheep in like a dream, basically. Give me love, love, you're my roses. Give me love, love, you're my roses. Give me love, love, you're my roses. This is not what I thought it would be, but this was the light stick, basically. All colored by you. You're my roses. Give me love, love. You're my roses. Give me love, love. You're my roses. Give me love, love. You're my roses. Aww. I like that they brought the animated aspect again from the last one, and I feel like it's gonna be like an ongoing theme instead of like them being present in the MV. But it's giving very much, like I said, a thank you to the fans, and like for always like being there and supporting them, and for following, kind of, it's like basically like us going on this journey of like finding them and following them. And it's like you see like this whole like the character, or like this was to represent us like following like this the boy with the one like boy character that's supposed to be, I guess, representative of the whole group, and like them like unwavering, kind of like through whatever situation happens, like just following them and like supporting them and like going on this journey with them is very much the vibe it's giving. And then like the aspects of like obviously like the whole like universe like aspect of like, oh, the stars, like they have like songs like The Star Eyes, and like them talking about like, oh, like it being like fate for us to be able to have been our destiny, that it has been for us to be in this group and have been picked to represent all the people who like voted for us, and stuff like that. And then like the whole like aspect of also like the counting of the sheep, kind of like representing like the dream phase of it, which is like obviously like basically like, oh, this was our dream, this is our dream. But like counting the sheep is like something you do to help you like fall asleep. So I think in a way it's like, oh, like, because once it's like over for them, like it's like over and it kind of makes you feel like, oh, like like it was like, was this like an entire like a dream all along, like was, because like you usually wake up from a dream and sometimes you don't always have the same like dream and it ends up changing, so maybe like that's supposed to be like a representative of that. But then also like it kind of going into like a downward like spiral, like looking like that, it kind of, I don't know, kind of makes you think that you're going toward like what's it called, like a black hole, like you're falling into it, which is like I said, like you following them through whatever, but also like basically kind of signaling also like the end of an era in my opinion. And then for it to be like them at with it being at the end of the MV, it ends up being creating like a little, like basically like a little home, like a little island. So basically saying like, oh, like um you like, it could be either way, like where the fans like Zeros were a home for them because of like the fandom, like the like the what's it called, the like care you had for like for you had for like each other, like the that relationship. And then also like for us, like it for the thing, if you like were going through like a rough time, or like you were following them and you're like, oh, this is like another home to me, like I got to meet like so many people throughout this experience of like standing this group. So like it has become like a second home to me, where I made so many friends, I met the like we got to see the members and like follow them on this journey. And then like that's like what the whole island is about. And kind of like, I guess her looking through the, or us looking through the binoculars is like kind of, obviously looking towards the future, kind of with running to the future, but also kind of like, oh, like being on the lookout to see what is to come from afterwards, if that makes sense. That's what it was giving to me. So I'm just like, I like that they went the route of being more animated than it being about, because I feel like I obviously did cry in the last one, but it's because more so they added them and their like past like MVs and like clips from the MVs and stuff like that into it. And obviously it's like, oh, like we're watching going down memory lane for that, for Running to the Future. And then here it's like more so like just like continuing on where because it was the same characters, like the girl and like the boy in that house. And now it's like here we're kind of like moving on to this like one, and it's just fully just the animated style of like it being like, oh, very representative of us. Oh, we're the Roses is the like female character, and then the little boy or teenage boy that that we're following around is supposed to be representative of the members, and kind of just like that whole thing. So obviously I didn't cry this time, but even though like I'm like, oh, I am kind of a little bit sad because it was really good. So I was really surprised with the way that they went in the direction of the song, because obviously like the more sentimental, like softer like parts, like the melody parts, like I was like, oh, okay, like that makes sense. But then when it got to like the rapping parts, I was like, oh, I'm like, but it makes sense because it'd be like that. It's kind of like how Iconic was, where it was very up and down, where it was like very groovy. And then for like the last like one of the changes in the melody and the changes of the like beat and everything was like, Matthew's part where it's like, let's take it away, and it goes like more like sentimental, and then it goes back into the fast pace like built up of the last part of the song. So it kind of reminded me of that, where it's like very much like up and down and like transitioning between that, and kind of like how their style has been like for the past couple of albums. It's kind of reminiscent of that. So I'm just like, I was really impressed. I really did like the song itself as well. So I think it was a good song. If it, like I said, I don't know if this is also another pre-release, or if there's gonna be one more, or this is like the MV that's supposed to drop for the whole like the whole album, because they do that, they do the pre-release and they do like an official MV that like, or title track that's supposed to like when the album drops, or if there's gonna be one more. Because if there is one more, that they're really building this up, because it is, their contract is technically still under until like March, I believe. Literally, I think they have their two or three encore like tours for the now here and now, I think is what the tour was called, right? So they have that going on. Obviously right now they're not really, they're doing a lot of like, they have a lot of content coming out for like the like epilogue is what they're calling it, right? But I'm not watching any of that because I'm just like, I don't want to cry, because I'm like, ugh. I've seen clips. But as far as like the members like promoting right now, I think they're all like kind of taking on like vacations and stuff like that, because obviously I saw like Matthew is like in Canada and like snowboarding and stuff like that. I've been seeing like the whole saga of that. And then I think other members are like doing their own thing right now, so I'm doing like their own schedules as well, because I think I saw as well that Yehua has been having their their manager for the Yehua boys kind of following them around on schedule. So I'm like, okay, makes sense. And I think obviously Yujin like just graduated not that long ago from high school. So I think they're just kind of like doing their own thing for the like maybe this is like their last real like quote unquote like break before they had to come back to prep, or they're probably in the middle of also like prepping for like the last like the last stops for the encore tour and stuff like that. So but anyways, if there is one more MV, like I said, I will be watching that as well, and I will be doing a album reaction because I want to hear what this is gonna sound like in comparison to obviously Iconic and the rest of their songs, and like where as far as like I feel like it's definitely gonna be more emotionally charged, and the vibe of it, because it's very, if it's like a last album and it's like a special quote unquote special like um limited edition album, I have a feeling it's very much gonna mean like, oh, like it's the ending, so we're gonna be talking and like reminiscing and on that moment, and like just like always like thanking the fans for loving us, and talking about our journey, and like now that this chapter is basically closing, you know what I mean? But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I shall see you in the next one.